Can you stand the rain?
Y'all ready?
Yeah. Oh man. Can you stand the rain?
Is he still in the frame with? He moved the chairs.
I know. Yeah, it is. That's why I moved it. Some of it wasn't. So that means some of me wasn't.
Cause you had moved it originally.
I don't know.
Okay.
But I pushed it back this way. But... Let's buy.
You probably should have left that going because it's for the camera now.
Yeah, but
Alright.
Let's buy.
I mean, we can stop and start over real quick.
No, it's fine.
All right.
Y'all ready?
Yeah.
Hey everybody, welcome to another episode of the Grae Area Podcast.
Great area. Woo!
My name is Shakoya D.
Being Breeze.
It's your boy Damon.
And welcome to the Grae Area. If this is your first time here, this is a podcast about whatever we feel like talking about, whether it be love, life, music, good vibes,
Good vibration.
boundaries, whatever. And yeah, if you don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Hit the notification bell so you know whenever we post, and don't forget to tell a friend to tell a friend to tell a friend. Yes, but let's get right into it.
Before we get into that, I actually be telling people my name being Breeze, man. When they ask, it's cool.
What's their response? They don't be like, seriously? That's your name?
What can you say? Either I say Breeze or being Breeze. They're like, wow, cool. What's your name?
Martha.
Haven't met a Martha.
I actually never met a Martha either.
I did at my job. She was old.
I thought she said she was a hoe.
Oh, let that thought out.
Yeah, the topic today that we getting into is fear.
Fear.
Fear. Yep. How has fear affected you to this point? That's the first part. How has fear affected you to this point?
Alright. I'll go first. So for me, I feel like fear, oh Lord. Fear has, I don't know, when people say it's a false sense of reality or false evidence appearing real, like that's really a real statement. Because I feel like fear has in a lot of ways I've allowed fear to stifle my creativity at times. I've allowed it to
Stifle.
Yeah, make me miss out on particular opportunities, whether it be career or just like social opportunities or anything like that. Just like, I feel like in general, fear has, for a while it had a really strong hold on me, but I didn't realize it. Because sometimes we equate being fearful to being safe. And sometimes it's not you being safe. Sometimes it's just you being fearful of making a decision or making a bad decision. And I used to be very indecisive because of that. And I think it was a fear of making the wrong decision, whatever that would be. So I feel like it's affected me in the past tremendously. And I feel like if I feel like in certain ways it may have saved me in certain ways from not being like reckless, but in a lot of ways it more so hindered my progress. So yeah, that's
yeah.
I understand.
Yeah, no, I definitely agree. I think fear on one hand is supposed to like protect you from stuff, but I think in a lot of times fear is like it stops you from going the next step, whatever the next step. And again, a lot of the stuff they always say it, right? The best moments will come on like just on the outside of fear, on the other end of fear. So I think for me, a lot of the times I've ended up in situations where I've been more afraid of whether it's like people's opinion, whether it's like just afraid of failing, afraid of whatever it is. Just go ahead.
I keep looking at your hair. And I keep seeing it blow dry. That's That's all I'm back.
It's all good.
I was trying to keep it together.
It's all good. But but yeah, not just fear of, I think a lot of just fear of the unknown, fear of like what if I'm not as good as I thought I was? What if just a lot of stuff, right? And when you think about it, the funniest part is it's like stuff that hasn't happened yet. Mm-hmm. So it's like we're afraid of things that this could go wrong. This might go
making
wrong.
Stuff up.
Right.
Yeah. So like it's literally all in your head, but because you feel like it's real to you. So like it's just
So that.
What about you?
Fear. I wasn't hiding the world from myself. Fear had me hiding myself from the world.
So scary ass.
But nah, fear is. Yeah, fear is like. They say fear. They said I was taught that fear is like. It's a thin line between playing it safe and being scared. But 9 times out of 10 it's being scared. Mm-hmm. And even what you were saying about, dang,
what was I saying?
My brain lagging.
Buffering.
But fear, it held me back a lot. Granted, it was probably good. Oh, this is what I was gonna say. You saying about being reckless. A lot of stuff be like I be planning stuff out. I plan stuff out. It goes according to plan. But since it's going according to plan, and then once I get to the point where I didn't plan for this to go this smoothly, this quickly, so now it's like, let me just go back. Let me go back because I don't know. I don't know what's next. I don't know what to do next. Mm-hmm. But it's like, self-sabotaging in a way. It's like fight or flight.
Yeah. But the funniest part is when you think about it, fear. I think fear is in place to like, hey, there's danger here. This is danger, right?
But it's just because you haven't experienced it yet.
Yeah. So and that's what I was gonna say, and then I think on a strictly like survival, basic
level of instinct.
Exactly. So like on that level, it's understandable because it's like, there's danger here. Like I don't know why I sense danger here, so I shouldn't go here. But for us in our everyday lives, it's no danger involved, right? Yeah. It's no real danger in being afraid to go up and perform in front of somebody. It's no danger in front of public speaking. There's no real danger. It's just the danger is embarrassment or people not liking you. So it's like once you establish that there's no danger on paper, it should be easy to do it. So all right, I mean, well, my life ain't in danger. Nobody about to I'm cool. Like my people's cool. My bank account is cool. What is there to really be afraid of?
I feel like that's very true, and I'm wondering if maybe because we have the instinctual, fight or flight type of thing. I think a lot of times we misinterpret or we have, I guess, in a way to kind of generalize that feeling. And be able to apply it to other scenarios because my brain lagging.
But for friend,
I feel like instinctually, like we're not in a society anymore where we constantly have to rely on our instincts. Rather, we're in a society where we a lot of times rely on more logic than we do instinct. Now we can go around and I guess live life instinctually, but for our day-to-day scenarios we don't. So in order to equate that fight or flight feeling, I feel like that's when the fear comes in. Like, okay, this is fear. Because you're in this scenario, you do go into kind of fight or flight mode, but it's actually no danger here. And I can't remember where I was going with this point, but it's made up.
But definitely is made up. But with instinctively, or I guess intuition.
Yeah.
Or What was the other thing you said?
I said we don't live instinctively.
Oh, logic.
Logic. Oh, okay.
Instinctively and logic. I definitely feel like it's a certain level of logic, but when it comes to making decisions, a lot of times it's instinct.
But it's not like a survival, like, I'm thinking like out in the, like, before, I'm saying like a lot. Before society, I guess, was, I mean, there's a lot of technology and stuff now. So when we're more like rural areas or before everything was so built up, like, I'm thinking like cavemen. I don't feel that I was a caveman or my ancestors was cavemen, but like before they actually modernized things.
But I still think I feel like we use instinct more than we think, or more than we give ourselves credit for.
That is true.
Mm-hmm.
Even with instinct, a lot of times instincts comes from previous experiences.
Yeah, habit probably more so than anything, I think, because if you jump into, like, the first time somebody tells you, hey, don't touch that, it's hot, and you touch it and it's hot, now every single time you go there, you're like, is it gonna be? I mean, maybe, so it's like you kind of go ahead.
But even with that, you had to learn. So with any binary decision, I feel like it's more instinct than logic. So if it's like a yes or a no.
I'm gonna look up what instinct actually means, because I feel like I don't know that previous experience is
Or dictates instinct.
Yeah, instinct. Because I feel like you being instinctual about stuff, give me a TV show, is more so not with experience, but maybe it's not. Okay, it says an innate, typically fixed pattern of behavior in animals in response to certain stimuli, imbued or filled with a quality. So it's something that a natural propensity or skill of a specified kind, the fact or quality of possessing innate behavior patterns. So the instinct isn't built off of something that, it could be based off of something that you experienced, but it could also be based off of somebody that prior in your family experience, and it was just passed down to you. Okay.
I was gonna say just but any stimulus or stimuli that like you witness and you internalize, because a lot of the stuff like when you talk about a baby, right? If you like hit the wall and you're holding a baby and you start crying, they'll be like, now it's time for me to cry. This is a bad.
That's true.
So it's like it's just the learned behavior. So I think a lot of the fear is like you have to unlearn whatever the behavior is, because most of it hasn't happened yet. Like we talking about fear. It's like, all right, I may go out and I may get attacked, but it's like it hasn't happened yet. So it's like just kind of preparing. But I think a lot of the times we're more so in our head than in the moment. So it's like in the actual moment, there really isn't anything to worry about. But because we're here, like we're in our head most of the time, it's like, dang, what could go wrong? Everything can go wrong. It could be from X, Y to Z. Like it's just like
with that about thinking about what could go wrong. I'm starting to get into the habit of thinking what can go right, or looking more so at the positive.
Yeah.
Even with fear, I feel like we all lived enough to know that, one, we not doing stuff recklessly. Two, we've planned enough to get to this spot where it's fear. So let's call it a bridge. To get to this bridge, the water under the bridge is fear. So it's like, it's a bridge. I can walk on this bridge, but it's uncharted territory at this point. I don't know if one of the planks is loose or what, but I planned to get to this point. Now it's like, what am I going to do? Am I going to stay here and just go back, or am I going to take this chance and walk across the bridge?
Yeah, but again, I think it's all in your head most of the time, because it was a story they was talking about in the book Floater that I was reading. And they was talking about it was a bunch of guys. They were like skydiving or whatever, and they told everybody, it's like, all right, your parachute is like the lever's on your right side. It's like you just gotta pull it, right? It's on your right side. And it was like one person, they were like, all right, you have a lefty shoe. The only difference is it's on your left side. Everything works. He gets up there, panics because he's still looking for it on his right side. The whole thing he's thinking in his mind is, hey, like it's not here, it's not where it's supposed to be. And it's like most of the time that's us. It's like if you take a step out of your head and you still like, yo, where am I at right this second? Oh, all right, cool. It's right here. It's like it's not even what was I afraid of? And it's like I was afraid that it wasn't gonna be where it was supposed to be. I wasn't gonna be where I was supposed to be, or that the bridge might collapse when I go there. But you don't know until you get there.
Yeah, but then that go with breathing. Like if we was taught to breathe or taught how to breathe properly, I feel like a lot of questions or concerns would be answered. Like we look outward for answers instead of just taking a deep breath and assessing the situation, seeing what options we have, use what we have. Mm-hmm. Like, cause it's easy. I could shake the bridge a little bit just to see if it's gonna wobble or something, or hold on to both sides while I'm walking. I don't know.
But I feel like it's not always that we're not taught to breathe. We're not taught the meaning behind it or the significance in taking the moment to breathe. Because as a kid, if you're panicking, a lot of times, if you're with your mom or your dad or something, they'll be like, okay, stop, just breathe for a second. But because you're in the moment, you don't have a time. You don't usually go back to reflect. So like a lot of times there's not a moment where you can go back and just reflect as a child. So you're told to breathe. And you're like, oh, okay, that worked. But you're not really taught to incorporate it into your everyday life, or why this worked, or that it's important to make sure you're doing it, even in scenarios where you're not panicking yet. Because, most people don't even know about breath work or why it works or anything like that. So I feel like a lot of times we are taught it unintentionally, maybe just out of habit, but we're taught it, but we're not told that it's a significant tool or given more insight into how it can be a significant tool if you learn how to harness your breathing.
But you just said a lot of people not taught how to, not taught about breath work. Mm-hmm. So a lot of people that's saying just breathe, when you're panicking, you're breathing sometimes, but you're not breathing correctly. So just saying just breathe, that's not really helping. So you're still panicking. You're not breathing. Like you're not breathing how you're supposed to. Because even the people that be saying breathe, a lot of them, like you just said, don't even know about breath work. So it's hard to
a lot of times
teach somebody how to breathe.
But as a child, they're like, all right, just repeat, just do what I do. Inhale really deep, and then just really, just something as slight as that.
So I did that to you before? Mm-hmm. Oh, nobody ever did that.
Yeah. I mean, but so the point of the breath work, in my opinion, is just to bring you back to here, bring you back to center, because a lot of the times, again, we're in our heads, so we lose track of our body, we lose track of everything. So it's like you might not even realize how fast you're breathing. It's like, yo, you basically hyperventilating right now. Just take a second. So it's like, come back here. It's like, hey, look around you. It's like, we're here. Like there's nothing has happened yet. Like nothing. And that's the funniest part, is because when you actually step back into the moment, it's like, oh wow, it's like there's so much that I can learn from being here. It's like I didn't even somebody over there laughing, they're making a joke. This is a perfect time for me to segue into a conversation. Oh, maybe this is just kind of figuring out, using the environment and using everything that you have with you. And that way, you're not as in your head about whatever it is you're afraid of. You're in the moment. And then the moment usually is never as bad as your worst fear is. Yeah. Your worst fear is like, oh, I get on stage, somebody gonna throw a tomato at me. It's like,
tomato.
You know what I'm saying? Boo, like you get on stage, instead of somebody throw a tomato, maybe they don't throw a tomato, maybe it's just crickets. You're like, all right, well, thank you for my time. And then it's like, that's not as bad as somebody hitting you with a tomato, It's like, so usually it's not as bad as how, at least in my opinion, usually it's not as bad as the worst case scenario in your head.
Right. I agree. Because I feel like we keep circling back to the fact that it's all in your head.
Yeah.
Like, and, but I mean, that's where we create our own realities at. Mm-hmm. So it makes sense that it translates into our daily lives because that's the start of where we create most times. It's in our head. So if I'm creating that I'm afraid of this thing, or even that if it was passed down to me, but it's a part of the creation that's happening in my head at the moment, it's like, then yeah, it's gonna manifest in whatever moment that comes. And I feel like, I don't know, like I'm sick of that. Mm-hmm. I don't know about y'all, but
No, I'm definitely sick of it. I was gonna say, do y'all remember like some of the first times like fear like stopped you from doing something you really wanted to do?
Probably basketball.
Yeah, that was me too. Yeah,
probably basketball. I messed that up for myself.
Explain.
I was way nicer than I was displaying. Like in actual games, I was way better than I was when I was actually in the actual game.
Yeah, so that was similar to me. It's funny because one of my friends, when we would play like by my house, he would see me play, and then we would play in the game. He was like, "Bro, why don't you play the exact same way that you do in the game and that you do when we outside?" And I said, I was like, "I don't know, man. It just feels different. Like there's a lot of other stuff that I'm doing, and like even when I think at the time I was more afraid to like to mess up, like to not to go up there and like, all right, let me not miss a shot. Because I want to make sure we win the game. I want to make sure I'm not ODing or doing something crazy like. So that was something that stopped me a lot of the times. It's like, all right, well, I don't want to take over like how I do, because what if I'm having a bad day? What if today's not the day? What if I'm breaking everything? And now I just look crazy in front of all like the whole school. Mm-hmm. That's wild. Let me make sure I get easy layup. It's easy. I'm right. I'm right here, as opposed to doing the stuff that I would do when I was a lot more comfortable.
Yeah.
Oh, I gotta say mine too. For me, it would be music. You said one of the first time?
Yeah, and I mean it could be any first.
I don't know, like even just singing in the choir. Like I knew I could sing, but I didn't have enough confidence in myself to ever even want to do a solo. And I'm not even sure why. Like, I genuinely don't know why. And then I feel like I chalked it up to, like, having stage fright or whatever. But I feel like I kind of manifested the stage fright. Like, now that I'm thinking about it, I feel like I manifested it because I don't even think the first time I actually did a solo, when I was little, back when we lived in Jersey still at United Fellowship, I don't think I was scared to do that solo. It wasn't until we moved. And I feel like I manifested, I think maybe I used it as an excuse because I just was doubting myself, and then I manifested the fear that I created into real life, and then I actually did start having stage fright. That's so interesting. I need to talk to my therapist about that. Mm-hmm. Didn't realize that was happening. But yeah, I think, and then that's something that I'm working on even to this day now, because I was claiming it for so long, and then it actually started happening, and then I was still saying it, I guess, and now we're here, you know. I'm a lot better. Yeah. I'm a lot better, you know. But
all starts in your head.
It does, and that's so wild because you don't realize how much of the things that happen in your head actually manifest in ways that you don't, like, you didn't. You're not paying attention to.
Yeah, because we're creative people, right? We're creating every single, like, you give yourself 5 minutes to just sit and think about stuff. You created your entire life, like in 3 different scenarios. If you would have went left, right, down the middle, like
That's
you
true.
just you're creating a bunch of different things. So I think, yeah, I think you have a lot of times you have the power to kind of create your worst fear, and I think which was kind of what I was gonna go for you guys. Like, what has been your biggest fear so far? I'll go first since for me it's usually been the fear. It's a combo: the fear of failure and the fear that I wasn't good enough for at whatever I was doing. But like a lot of the times it was like just the fear of failing, going out there and realizing like, dang, I'm not that guy. It's like I spent a lot of time thinking I was that guy, and it's like me going out there and just falling flat on my face and being like, I'm not that guy. And for me, it wasn't until more recently that like I'm more afraid of not finding out if I am or not than I am of never finding out. You know what I'm saying? Or like never trying
to get there.
To get there. Yeah. So I was just curious what y'all biggest fears were.
Yeah, probably to current me, the biggest thing was, what if I'm too good?
Elaborate.
And what if everything works exactly how I want it to work? Because everybody be like, God, laugh at your plan.
Mm-hmm.
God don't be laughing at my plan. He be like, yeah, I told you to do this, so just do this, this, and this. Like, I don't just be saying stuff. Like, when I be saying I'm gonna do this, this, and this, and this, it don't just come out of nowhere.
I thought you meant when you just be saying stuff.
Nah, sometimes I just be saying stuff, but that's just for comedic relief. But when I be saying I'm gonna do this, this, and this, or this how it's gonna go, I'm gonna be here by such and such, it just don't be me wishful thinking. I sat and thought about it, went through every situation that I could possibly think of, and me actually knowing myself and knowing my strengths, and I don't even really be worried about the weaknesses. But me knowing my strength and actually knowing that I can do whatever I want to do, it's like, wow, what if it actually worked? And what if I'm better than I think I am? It's like even with performing, if I practice, because me talking to people is nothing. I can make up a story. Like even we did you said something about the moon. Like I'll be remembering everything and just be like I could talk and just performing the songs. I could get the people engaged. My songs are good enough for people to just be like listening. And my words are like I speak clearly. So it's not like you're not about to catch what I'm saying. You're gonna hear what I'm saying. The beats I pick are strategic. And you're gonna feel you're gonna feel the feeling that I want you to feel just off the beat. And my words and how I put the words together is just a little icing on the cake. And then I'm talking in between each song, so it's not like you're not getting me. But it's like, what if I'm way better? So it's like,
what's scary about that though? I'm just curious.
I don't know. That's why I gotta keep going.
Because I'm just asking because it's like, what if I am way better? That's like, what is there to be scared of if you are way better than you thought you were?
It's a lot of responsibility that come with that.
What's scary about that then?
Nah, it's with responsibility comes.
With great power comes great responsibility.
Yes, it's a lot that comes with everything. So I'm at a point now where I'm good. I'm just going. Even when I want to stop, like a couple days, the other day, I have to keep going because I came mad for when I was the first time I ever experienced stage fright was in preschool. Mm-hmm. I'm front and center. I do not know why they put me front and center. I'm standing on the table. It's the whole class, but I'm right in the middle, in the front. We singing the song for the for the parents. And I'm just up there, and I look, and it's mad people, and I just freeze. And I see that, I see that all the time. Like I vividly remember that moment. I feel like it was. Did anybody take a picture?
There's a picture.
It's a picture floating around somewhere. I need that picture. But even to see me now, like even at the open mics, I'll be like, wow. One day, one of my old professors had came into my life, and I was like, pardon us. But she came into my life. I ain't never used to talk in her class. I used to just do my work, hand it in. But she even be talking about, you never used to speak in my class. Like where did all this come from? Like I came mad far. Came so far that I can't turn back now.
I think we should pause.
I just had to get that out. My mama! Hey yo, I'm doing it again. Man, what you doing? The last time I did a 90 days, the mindset shifted. But this time what? This time is where it all materializes. And how you gonna make that happen? I've created a journal where I'll set my daily intentions, to-do lists, daily wins, and reflect on my progress weekly. Oh, word? Let me get one. Just tap the link in my bio.
I had a similar experience to that because, well, two similar experiences. When I was younger, when I was in elementary, they used to always have people. They used to have the kids say the Pledge of Allegiance at the morning time, and they used to have every Tuesday. They had everybody. If you were in like this history class, they had you like read current events, and for like when I tell you I ducked that every single time just because I was so terrified of the idea of having to speak over the loudspeaker and have everybody hear what I have to say over the loudspeaker. I ducked that thing the entire time. It wasn't until like the last day of the year when my teacher was like, "Did you ever say the morning announcements?" I was like, "Nope, never did." But so I just ducked it, and then but when I was the first time I ever performed, it was me and two of my boys, and they went before me, and I told the story a bunch of times, but they went before me, and so they go up. We was at Six Flags. It's supposed to be like for a movie. They go up, they do their part, off, off, right? I go up, I'm like, and it was like the words it was a complete blank, and I was, thank you for your time. And I just walked off, and I was like, for the longest, for years, I was just like, dang man, how did I was like, I practiced this 1,000,001 times. Like, why did I mess this up? And everybody was like, at the time was like, yeah, no, it's all good. The only thing I can see in my head was me being up there and just freezing.
But
just
even
like,
with that, at that age, I wouldn't even have gotten up there. So I applaud you for even getting up there.
Appreciate it.
Even that age, like, took me until I was 27. 27 was the first time I ever performed. Like, all the other times, granted, it's open mics every week. 3 days out the week, at least 3 days out the week, somebody's having an open mic. And it took me until last year, the year before last year. Y'all moved out here last year? Yeah, last year. January 22nd, I believe. That was my first time ever performing. January 2nd, 2021.
22nd.
22nd.
January 22nd, 2021. Pardon me. Yeah, that was the first time I ever performed. It was amazing. And it was cool, like, seeing people respond, even though it wasn't packed. But just seeing the response.
Yeah.
It was fire. But just getting up there as a teenager, I don't want to rap. That's what I'm good. Good.
Yeah, I mean, I know we spent a lot of time in college performing, and that was. It's funny because when you're in those scenarios where it's just you and your peers, so you should feel a lot more comfortable.
If I know you,
yeah,
It's a lot more nerve wracking because it's like now I know you, I know what your face looks like. I can probably see you because I know you and I know you're in this room because you probably walked here with me on campus.
Mm-hmm.
So it just makes it even more nerve wracking because now people are counting on me or they're expecting me to do a certain, like, do good or whatever. And that should motivate you to do good, but it just adds pressure.
Yeah.
So it makes you more nervous.
Yeah, and I feel like, for me at least, this is not the light that you usually see me in. Like, I usually just be chilling, laid back. I literally always just be calm, chilling. When you performing, you have to turn it on.
Mm-hmm.
Like, so you gotta be, like, I can still be cool, chilling, but I have to talk to the people. I have to get them engaged. The only way they gonna have energy is if I have energy. Like, they feeding off my energy just as much as I'm feeding off their energy.
Mm-hmm.
And you have to perform. Like, it's definitely a performance. It's a show. You gotta put on a show. So for people that actually know me,
Yeah.
I know they like, it's not, hold on. When you start doing, like, it's not really clicking that this is
The same person.
yeah, it's the same
Yeah,
person.
yeah.
So to be that person, I think we was talking about it a couple weeks ago, a couple pods ago, one of the pods that just aired, about do you give everybody the same you?
Mm-hmm.
This is not the me that
You guys are used
people
to.
normally get.
Yeah. It's something about being on the stage. It's almost like you can lose track of your body. You can lose track of whatever because it's like you're up there, but you're not really. If you let it get to that point, you're up there, but you're not really. You're not really looking at people.
Yeah.
You're not really into it because it's like everything in you is, hey, I can't mess up. Hey, let me make sure I look over here for 5 seconds. Hey, let me make sure because everything in you is like, I can't mess up here. Let me not mess up here. This is the one time in life I don't want to mess up.
If the people that you know are there, once y'all go home, once y'all leave, it's over.
Yeah.
At least the people I know, it's gonna be joke after joke after joke. But so it's like I have to be great, or they be like, yeah, I know, like I know you, so it gotta be great. Like I don't expect nothing less. Then it's like it gotta be amazing. It gotta be amazing.
Yeah, but added pressure.
Yeah, and most of it is from us. That's why it's so annoying a lot of times because you could be so afraid. You could be so afraid of the moment that when the moment comes, you're almost like acting to a degree. Like you're not acting like how you normally would because you're acting. You're doing stuff. You're not moving the same way. You're not even breathing from the same spot. You're not speaking from the same spot that you normally do because you're so afraid of whatever the impending fear, whatever the verdict is.
Yeah. But what I learned, everybody's gonna respect you a lot more if you just go up there, whatever you're doing, just give it your all. Like they gonna respect you way more, whether they like it or not. It's like, wow, he or she actually did it.
Yeah,
actually did it. And then you was talking about you go up there and like not even have control of your body. I want to get to a point where I'm up there and I'm just like free, like just let go and I'm going crazy, but I'm free. Like if I feel like dancing, I'm dancing. If I feel like jumping, I'm jumping. If I want to go in the crowd, I'm in the crowd talking to people. And then when I get to the point where everybody knows the words, I'm not performing. I'm gonna start off like, all right, I know y'all know this song. Sing it with me. All I hear is bad boy this and bad boy that. I see it like you fine.
Yeah, but that's the thing though, because fear most of the time will stop you at hey, what if this goes great? What if this goes better than I think it could go? Right? It's like that's what happens then. Right? But there's nothing to be afraid of if you don't to me now, it's like it's nothing to be afraid of if I don't know. That just means I haven't gotten there yet. It's not enough information yet. It's like I'm not afraid. Most of the time I'm not afraid that if I don't know what's for dinner, I'm just like I gotta make a decision. That's it. I'm not most of the time. I'm not afraid. Like, hey, I'm not gonna eat tonight. Nah, it's just like I don't know. So let's just
like you were saying earlier. We got so much technology. Somebody has the answer. Like if you get to this point where I don't know, you could pull out your phone and get an idea of an answer. Even if we go back to I don't know what I'm about to eat. Okay, Google dinner options or little stuff like that. Bless you.
Thank you. Sorry.
Oh no, you good. Yeah, but we have knowledge at our fingertips, so you don't have to. The beauty of it now, you don't have to know everything because it's so easy to figure it out. But then it's what if I figure it out? I have to keep going. I have to keep going because it's gonna take me way longer to go all the way back from where I came from, just to be like, dang, I should have just kept going. So now I'm making this journey, this voyage, all the way back to this bridge. I'm at the same bridge, and it's like, I really feel like figuring it out, risking it all.
You look like you have thoughts, Cole.
Y'all just been doing a lot of talking, and I didn't get to say my big experience.
Go for
Oh, go ahead. I thought we were just talking. We pie. Let's pie.
Birds.
Oh, wow. Birds are beautiful. They be chirping.
I like them from a distance.
Some birds be violating or they be getting real close, but I like birds. I don't like chickens, but I like birds.
Chickens are birds.
I like birds that be actually flying.
They
can fly a little bit, but I like soar.
They're of the bird family.
Yeah.
Ducks are a little aggressive. I wouldn't necessarily.
Geese are aggressive. Yeah. Geese will remember your face and your plates if you try to hit one of their brothers and sisters. They will be after your car every time you drive by. But, so yeah, that's number one. But number two is, like the success of it all. But for different, so it's similar to yours, but different from yours as well.
I forgot that was even the topic or the question that I started with.
Well, I forgot too, but it took y'all was talking for so long that I wound up remembering what the original question was. Because I was like, wow, I haven't said anything. It's been about 20 minutes.
Well, go ahead.
Oh, it's my turn. Sorry.
Floor is yours.
So when I was a child, it's like nah. So yeah. So mine is like the success of it all, but it's not like a what if I'm greater than I think I am. I already know that I'm greater than I think I am. I think the fear comes from after reading this book. I think that my fear more so was from the idea that okay, so I've always said that I was a powerful being. I've always said that. I've always known that. I've always told myself that. And the idea that me being successful and attaining everything that I've ever wanted in life, it challenges everything that I know, right? And everything that I am or was in the current moment. Or in the past. So it was more so, and I didn't realize this until yesterday. But it was more so that it was me achieving everything that I wanted, challenged. It went against everything that I knew, and that scared me more than, I guess, like you said, not knowing if I could do it or whatever. Mm-hmm. For me, it was like, if I do this, I don't know what that looks like. I don't know what that version of me looks like. I don't know what it sounds like. I don't know. I get glimpses, like I have little visions of things, but I don't know what that person believes or who that person is or like what happens along the way. So I guess the uncertainty of it all, but also knowing that if I actually do what I know that I'm capable of, it's like I'm not a little Coco no more then.
Word, that's what I'll be feeling that same way. It's like if I do say if I do everything 100%, at least 100%, it's going to come out amazing or better than I thought. And if I do that, they're going to follow me, and that goes back to responsibility.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not only responsible for myself at this point. Now I'm responsible for other people. We're not even talking about kids now. If people following me, like,
you're not a cult leader.
I'm not a cult leader, but that's a lot of responsibility that comes with being great.
What did Kendrick say? You are not their savior.
I'm not their savior, but it's a lot that comes with it.
Yeah, no, I feel you. I think more than anything, again, the responsibility is a big thing, but you can't be the same you that you are now and be that person.
I know.
I think that's probably the scariest part is for me to be that version. I can't be this version anymore.
But I'ma still have to be me. But it's gonna be
an elevated version.
Yeah,
the me that
takes responsibility.
Yeah, you have to be an adult. I didn't want to say the word.
An adult. Yes, you gotta be an adult about it.
But then, even as an adult, you recognize what truly is your responsibility and what's not.
Yeah, that's a fact. And also, once we make the decision, I feel like it's gonna be a lot easier. Just because we're gonna be rubbing shoulders with people who are just as amazing or even more amazing, who are willing to help. Like, cause when you get to that level, they see you, they know you're here. Like they already know we're here. But once you be who you are, fear never going away. Like fear is never going away. We just have to learn how to work with it or use it for our benefit. Mm-hmm. So. Yes, it get different.
But I think fear is a great gauge of what you should and what you shouldn't do. To be honest,
yeah, that's a fact.
Like
that's
once
what I was gonna say too.
as soon as you approach like, hey, I have a fear of this. But I think fear it's a great radar. It's a great guidance system to let you know like, all right, if I go here, like, all right, once I feel the fear. I just have to decide: am I gonna go past it, or am I gonna stay here? So it's like, even though it's gonna be there, a lot of the times I think if you use it to your benefit to guide you, like, hey, I should do this in spite of whatever fear I am. Then I think you'll go a lot farther. Because again, the fear is a lot of times it's like a yield sign. Mm-hmm. It's like, oh, you might want to slow down. Mm-hmm. You don't have to slow down when you hit the yield. It's just like a hold. It would behoove you to slow down at that time, but you can slow down and just kind of like, all right, look, just to make sure there's no impending danger, and even if it feels, let me not say that for you, but most of the time, yeah, I was going to say even if it feels like it's danger, go ahead, but not. But in terms of fear, right?
Yeah,
nah. But yeah, no, I think you just use it as a yield sign. It's like this is time to slow down for a second, just assess where you're at, and then go. Like, cause somebody stop at a yield sign and you behind them, you're like, bro, what you doing?
It's a yield.
It's a yield. Keep it moving. Like this is like keep it moving. Go ahead. You know.
Yeah.
But for me, I use fear. I'm starting to use fear as kind of like a compass. So if I get to a point and I'm fearful of it, mm-hmm. It's a sign. 9 times out of 10, it's a sign that I'm in the right direction. I just haven't been here before, so that's why it's a like a trigger response that I haven't been here before. Like warning. Mm-hmm. I haven't been here, but I'm in the right direction. 9 times out of 10, I'm in the right direction because I planned to be here, but I couldn't plan further because I never got here. I never seen what it looks like at this point.
And I think that's the most important thing about fear is learning to use it as a tool. Because you can use it as like a compass or you can use it as a yield sign, but you could also use it as like a stop sign or like a a false red flag. And just recognizing, all right, should I be fearful of this moment? Like slowing down and stuff like that. Using it as a tool to gauge, am I in the right place at the right time? Do I need to actually leave this spot? Like using it in conjunction with your intuition and with your logic and with your emotions so that it can benefit you versus allowing fear to overtake everything and then you're just in a state of panic. And I think that's the most important thing, and that's a lot of times not what we're taught, um because we're not taught to use it as a tool. We're taught that fear is fear, and when you are fearful, go the opposite way. But we're taught that for every single situation rather than, okay, fear, it can be valid, assess the situation, but also like trust your instincts, trust your experience, trust like different things like that, and then go from there. Don't just panic immediately because you might be fearful of something for no reason, or you might be fearful of the wrong thing, and then you're running towards something that you actually should be fearful of. So, I just think it's important, huh?
I said like the past.
Oh, I thought you said like the gas, and I was gonna say them gas prices. I would run away, but
what I'm gonna do? Run to work?
But yeah, just definitely using it as a tool is something that's so important, and we don't even think about fear as a tool. Like everybody be like, it's either be fearful or fear is fake. Get rid of it. But it's like, all right, if it is here, if it is something that I'm dealing with, how can I use this to benefit me, so that I can continue to move forward.
Yeah, I think the easiest way to figure that out is to define why you're afraid of it, why you're, because that's a lot of times we don't even ask ourselves like, hey, why am I afraid of it?
You be too scared to ask the question.
Yeah, it's like why, and because then when you ask why you're afraid of it, 9 times out of 10, it's not even about the thing itself. It's about something else. Like you just like, I'm afraid of performing. It's like, well, I mean, why are you afraid of performing? It's like, well, I'm afraid that my voice doesn't sound as powerful, or I don't when I speak, I'm going to sound stupid. Well, it's like that's not performing. You're not afraid of the actual performance. You're afraid of people not respecting your voice, or people not liking what you have to say, or you not being. So it's a lot of the times the fear isn't even the thing that you're approaching. Is something way underneath the thing that you're approaching.
Right.
So it's just kind of being able, as long as you're able to define it, I think you can overcome it. But I think the longer you decide to not define what it is and decide not to look at it, then you're not going to be able to figure out what it is you're afraid of.
Right.
Even with me, there's no reason why I'm scared to paint. Like
that's actually
yeah, there's no reason at all.
Like, I'm scared to paint.
Draw.
Like, it's like, what if I mess up my drawing? Because the drawing be fire.
Then you mess up the drawing, and then
start
you
just start over. Like,
and there's nothing wrong with it. Those were your words.
Right.
It was.
There's nothing wrong with starting over.
Yeah.
Granted, you may not want to start over,
but now you got more information to base the next try on. The next attempt.
Exactly.
Yeah, word to Denzel, you gotta fail forward. That's it. Just if I'm
it's not even failing. Like it's not failing at all. Like you can't fail. Like what is failure?
It's what you. I feel like failure is how you define it.
Yeah,
like just like fear.
So,
all the F words made up.
So you can fail, but you determine if it is a failure or not.
Yeah.
Like if you say that it wasn't a failure, then it's not a failure. So it's like everything else, it's all subjective, guys.
Yes, absolutely is. And I think there's nothing wrong with Because like you don't, most people don't do everything perfect the first time they try it.
Mm.
In fact, most people do stuff wrong the first time they try it.
Mhm.
So it's like it's only a failure if you decide that whatever this task is, I can't get past this task, right? So it's like, hey, all right, this is the task at hand. If it's painting, if you decide I'm never going to paint because I'm what if I mess it up? Then for you it's okay if you're like, hey, I failed at it, because you're like, hey, this challenge, I wasn't able to beat this challenge. And it's like, if you want to define it like that's a failure, that's fine. But you can also be like, hey, like I didn't do the painting yet. I'm gonna get to it, but until I get to it, I'm not gonna say I failed at it.
Yeah.
Then it's like, it's still personal, but yeah, it's just a matter of. Yeah.
It's the thing. This is what doesn't make sense in my head. I know that once I do it, even if I don't like it, everybody else is going to like it.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
So why?
Why are you scared?
Yeah.
Because it challenges everything you know. Because it, just like he just talked about with, you can't be the same breeze to get to the next breeze, the next level of what you're trying to do. This is part of the next level.
It is.
And you not painting is you staying the same breeze.
Yeah, and it's easy. It's so much
easier.
easier to not do it, because now you don't. Even if you do it right, you're doing it and people love it, right? There is a portion of you that's probably like, dang, what if I do it and I don't like it, right? Because if everybody else likes it and I don't like it, I failed to me. That's basically what you're saying, right? So it's like you're still grading yourself on whether or not I failed or passed, because regardless of whether or not people like it, you're like, I have to like it. If I don't like it, then I shouldn't even have done. I messed it up. Nobody else knows that you messed it up, but you know you messed it up. So you feel like you failed, and it's like you just have to be honest with the fact that, all right, cool. If I failed this time, I'm right back at it.
But then
I'm on it. You can't make every shot. That's just what it is.
Initially, I'll be like, I failed, but another part of me, because I'll just be optimistic, like I find the good in anything. So I'm gonna be like, at least I did it.
Mm-hmm.
That's how I'm gonna feel. I'm gonna feel once it's done, I'm like, I'm glad I did it.
That's the thing in saying, like, who said the failure had to be a bad thing? Like, we decide what's good and bad in our lives. So if you deem the failure as a bad thing, because then it's a bad thing. But if you deem it as, okay, the first attempt was a failure, then, all right, let's see how attempt number 2 goes. That was just my first try. I was testing things out. Or this was a great lesson to see, okay, now I know not to do this way. Or now I know not to do this type of brushstroke. Or maybe I want to use a completely different type of paint. You can use it. It's whatever you deem it to be. Mm-hmm. So just like if you deem it a failure, it's a failure. If you deem it as bad, then it's bad. If you deem it as good, then it's good. Regardless of if you say that it's a failure, it can still be, oh, I failed at this, but it was good though, because I needed to learn this. Or this was the first time that I figured out what type of paint I like to use the most, or what type of medium I like to use to do these types of things. Or I had the inspiration to try a whole different thing. I'm going to sculpt it next time. Like, but you don't know. Yeah. It's really, we're just naming things.
Yeah, and I think it's also, speaking for myself, right? There's only been a few things that I was good at from the jump, and like it's like music and sports usually is what I was good at from the jump. But what defining what good is early on is just a little bit above everybody else. That's all good was, because you're not great because nobody's ever great at anything when they first start. So it's like most of the time we're just like, if you do stuff that you're kind of, most people don't do stuff that they're innately bad at for long periods of time, right? You find something that's why they say you find something that you're relatively good at, and you stick to it because it'll make it easier. But for you to do it, so if you're gonna do it and you're like, hey, I'm not good at it, you just have to be willing to work at it until you're good at it.
Right.
which is like, because then at that point, it's never a failure because it's like, all right, well, I only fail if I don't end up being good at it. And the only thing that's going to happen is if I work on it every day.
I'm going to end up being good at it.
So it's like, you're right, there is no failure, but it's like micro failures, you know?
Right.
It's like teeny, you're like, oh, didn't quite get it. Like when you're cooking, you like, when you first went vegetarian, you're like, all right, I'm cooking, this ain't quite it. Today I didn't season these right. Today, I over seasoned it. Ooh, these are salty today. Ooh, my heart. You know, but then, next day you might be like, dang, this is bland. And then one day you get it just right. And it's like, all right. And after a while, you'll be like, you'll get it right over and over and over again until it's harder for you to get it wrong. Mm-hmm. And I think, but most of it, I think we just got to be okay with it. And I think that was my biggest fear a lot of the times was the failure. But at this point, I'm more afraid of not trying. Because, like, only thing that happens if I don't try is that I never get it. And it's like, that shit is terrifying. It's like, yo, I'm never going to get it? That's wild. Nope, let me get up.
Right.
You know?
I feel you.
But yeah.
I agree, though. I think I'm starting to get to the point or I'm at the point now where I'm more afraid not to see how great I am or how great I'm becoming. Because I feel like it's very comfortable to keep talking about your dreams, and it's very comfortable to be like, oh yeah, I'm this without actually doing the work. Or and then you're even in the frustration of things not happening in the time frame that you want them to happen, it gets comfortable because it's like I'm still not necessarily putting in all of the effort that I should be putting in. But as we pick and choose our battles, we pick and choose our fears, it's like, would I rather pick this level of comfort or this level of uncomfort to sit in? Or do I want to try to see what's the next level of uncomfort look like? Or what's like my best level of being uncomfortable? Like, what does that look like?
Yeah.
Right, like you picking your problems. I don't want to have these problems that I'm having right now. I don't want these problems. I want the best version of myself type of problems.
And
like,
yo, it's crazy because when I think about it, like, we talking about the what ifs, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, what if I'm the next Michael? Like, what if you're the next Whitney, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it's like you just didn't even get a chance to minus the crack and minus the everything, right? But I'm just saying, like, what if you're like what if you're the next thing, right? And then you just don't get a chance to see that. It's like, bro, I want to see that.
Right.
Like, if nothing else, I was like, nah, like, let's because it's like, that's so much cooler to be like, and it's not even like you're gonna see it. I want to live it. Yeah, let's. That's amazing to me. Like, and it was for me. It's like, yo, it's more scary to be like to think what if, and then not ever get a chance to see it than to be like, all right, well, it's like, dang, that movie wasn't as good as I thought it was going to. Like, as opposed to never knowing if the movie is like, nah,
That's why they be saying the graveyard, the richest place in the world.
Mm-hmm.
It's mad untapped.
Potential,
dreams, ideas, everything, man.
Yeah.
And I don't want to be one of them people.
I
gotta
don't
leave it all here. Because I got a lot more. Once I go to whatever is next after this life, got a lot more.
Yeah.
So, yeah. About to get right. Or we getting right. Stay tuned.
We right.
Word.
Stay tuned.
We ain't got anything else?
I don't.
We had touched on the second part, didn't we? How we...
Overcoming it, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
We touched on it.
Yeah,
You said yours?
I thought I did.
I don't know we said how, but we said what. If that makes sense. Like, we didn't necessarily say, like, step by step how we're overcoming it. We just said, like, where our mental is at now. That's helping us to overcome that. But let us know in the comments below how y'all feel. What y'all think of fear? Do y'all think it's made up? What do you think fear has done to impact your life, your decisions, and different things like that? And what are you doing to overcome it? Also, let us know any other topics that you want us to talk about. You can email us at graeareapodcast at gmail.com. I think that's it. I'm going to put it somewhere on the screen. And also follow us on Instagram at Grae Area Podcast. And we will see y'all next time. Thanks for joining us. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Bye.
Adios.
Stay blessed, stay black, people.